I move the Government's reasoned amendment, and I do welcome the opportunity to discuss this matter before the Dáil again today. And regardless of the numbers of motions or bills put forward by members of the opposition, as well-intentioned as they may be, I firmly believe that as a government we are correct in the actions that we are taking. I've listened to members opposite read out some lived experience of renters, and I too hear many of the instances which they are referring to. I and my government colleagues from all over the country meet people in our weekly clinics. We read the emails, we take the phone calls from people who are struggling and who are looking for answers. And for the benefit of the House, I will again outline what solutions are available right now. Where a person or a household is in receipt of the housing assistance payment, or indeed the rental accommodation scheme, then they are eligible for social housing. Where they are concerned about becoming homeless as a result of a notice of termination on the grounds of sale, they should immediately contact their local authority for assistance. The local authority will advise on housing supports, which can include the purchase of the property by the local authority for continued use by that tenant, and that scheme is being ramped up and expanded across the country. If they are above the social housing income limits but wish to purchase their own home, as many renters do, then a new opportunity to buy will be put in place to help tenants to accept an offer of first refusal to buy their home. The person or household can access the First Home Scheme, which Sinn Féin opposed, to help them afford it. The First Home Scheme is a new government scheme which helps bridge the gap between the finance a person has and the finance they need to own their own home. It's specifically for new build properties, but will, in these very specific and focused cases, be extended to second-hand homes. Where the person or a household is above the social housing limits but cannot afford to purchase their home, even with the First Home Assistance, then a cost rental option will be put in place to allow local authorities and AHBs to buy that home for cost rental. The tenant will remain in the home paying a rent which is not driven by markets or profit, and this will be done on an administrative basis from the 1st of April. No one in this House wants to see people evicted, or worse still, evicted into homelessness. These solutions ensure that there are safeguards in place. Everything we do in government is focused on preventing and exiting people from homelessness to safe and secure housing. The Sinn Féin bill in front of us here this evening will have only one outcome. It will shrink the number of homes that are available to rent. Less than 1 month ago, Sinn Féin proposed an extension to the eviction moratorium, which would end with a cliff edge on New Year's Eve. Less than 1 week ago, the same party, Sinn Féin, proposed an extension to the eviction moratorium, which would end again on a cliff edge on the 31st of January. But tonight, Sinn Féin proposes an extension to the eviction moratorium with a phasing out period to the 18th of April next year. So lest anyone be in any doubt, Sinn Féin are playing politics with this matter. They have continually changed their position on the ban, saying on the one hand that they would remove no-fault evictions permanently, while on the other hand saying they would not let the ban continue past New Year's Eve. I'm not surprised by this. They've also argued for an exemption from the current winter eviction ban to be provided for owners of rental properties to be able to evict so they can occupy those homes themselves. Yet their own bill tonight does not include such an exemption. They must have decided that it doesn't suit tonight's chosen narrative, and I have not yet heard any explanation as to why. Sinn Féin didn't even support emergency planning powers when the government brought them forward in December. But now you claim they're essential to tackling the crisis, but you didn't support them when they came forward. Sinn Féin didn't even mention cost rental in situ purchases in the alternative 2023 budget, but now criticise the government for not introducing it sooner. We introduced cost rental as a government. Sinn Féin talk about it. Sinn Féin say we need a plan to stop the exit of small landlords from the rental sector. But their plan, written in black and white, is to put €400 tax on the 150,000 small and medium landlords right across the country. You're entitled to your various contradictory positions, but you're not entitled to your own facts. They claim that nothing has been done during the period of the current moratorium. That's simply not true. And here are the facts. In the last quarter of last year, approximately 6,000 new social homes were delivered, including almost 5,000 new-build social houses. At the same time, over 1,500 local authority homes were refurbished under the Voids programme and restored to use. Just prior and during the period of the moratorium, local authorities opened some 500 additional homeless emergency beds and 170 cold winter beds. 734 adults and 346 families exited homelessness in Q4 2022. And in the last 3 months of 2022, during the eviction moratorium, 1,896 new HAP tenancies were created. So providing all these new social homes, while at the same time delivering with many knock-on impacts of the war in Ukraine, supply chain issues and all the various issues that you would like to ignore, we're delivering more social homes now than we've done since 1975. Supply is at the heart of this, and whether you like to, supply is at the heart of this. And you'll know this, but you don't like this statistic either. 30,000 new homes were completed last year in 2022, 45% increase on the year before. 25,000 first-time buyers bought their own homes last year, the highest amount on record. First home approvals.
I'll suspend the House. Now, please, it's a basic tenet of proper parliamentary debate that you listen to what people have to say. Can we do that, please?
As I was saying, Ceann Comhairle, the first home scheme, which many renters avail of, which you oppose as well, over 1,300 homes approved under that scheme. Help to Buy continuing to assist thousands of home buyers with their deposit, more than 37,000 so far. Again, you oppose that. Nearly 1,300 applications to bring vacant properties back into use. The Croí Cónaithe grants, up to €50,000. Again, you oppose that. Cost rental now a reality. 1,000 cost rental homes approved for funding. And in 2023, with a target of over 29,000 new homes, 9,100 of these will be new-build social homes. So the reality of it is, and again it's a statistic that Sinn Féin don't like, is that since the government came into being, the numbers of people on social housing lists have dropped by 15%. And we must also remember that despite the narrative presented this evening, new tenancies are thankfully taking place also. The RTB statistics show that over 19,000 new private tenancies were registered during the months January and February. And during that time, 1,000 new approved housing body tenancies were registered with the RTB. These are solid, secure tenancies into the future. So it's simply not true in case your tenancy ends that you will end up homeless. But be assured that with the help from the state, the purchase with tenants in situ, and dealing with the transboundary issues that we have dealt with clear directions to the local authorities, we will do absolutely everything in our power to make sure that we ramp up supply by delivering more, which we've been doing, that we provide the new additional supports that are in place, that we use the space of the moratorium to deliver the additional homes that, again, you like to reject. They are cold facts. That is what's there. Ceann Comhairle, throughout the course of the debate on the eviction moratorium, I believe the protections which exist for renters have been lost. And I want to take a minute to outline them. We have a €500 tax credit, which is worth €1,000 in 2023. 2% rent increase caps in rent pressure zones. Rents outside of RPZs can only be increased every 2 years. Increased notice of termination periods, up to 224 days for certain tenancies, more than 7 months. More than 75,000 HAP and RAS tenancies in place. A direct support for renters. Again, another scheme that Sinn Féin say you would scrap, but you will not tell those thousands of households what you will do instead. Strict procedures and requirements for the provision of notice to quit termination, which, if ignored, can result in the notice being invalidated. The RTB Dispute Resolution Service is available to deal with cases where a tenant might wish to dispute the validity of a notice of termination. The mediation service is the quickest route for a tenant to ensure that their tenancy rights are not being breached. Ceann Comhairle, in conclusion, I would again appeal to members opposite to stop the politicisation of such an important matter. You have read, all of us are aware of the very difficult situation with regard to the private rental sector, and you do know, by the 3 changes you've already made in your own position over a few short weeks, that the measures that you would bring forward here this evening will further shrink that private rental market. And whether you like it or not, as we're increasing the supply of social homes, which is indisputable, of affordable homes for the first time in a generation, through schemes that you've opposed as well, that by continuing your demonisation of the private rental sector, you'll continue to drive more and more landlords and reduce the properties that are actually out there. And Deputy, the only policy that you've brought forward in relation to individual mom and pop landlords to supposedly retain them is to tax them an additional €400 per year by your second home tax. That is the fact. It is Sinn Féin short-termism versus a government taking a responsible decision, Deputy. And we have seen a decrease in social housing waiting lists as well over that period of time. And we will not be dissuaded or put away from the course that we have under Housing for All to deliver more social homes than we have done in generations, and we will continue to do that. And you are acutely aware of the measures that you would ask other deputies to pass here this evening will make a very difficult situation a lot worse. But that you just disregard. You just completely disregard. Be honest with people. Be honest with people.
Now,